today we are going to be antiquing a mirror that I got from the thrift store a couple months ago before all of this started. I can't go thrifting right now because thrift stores aren't open where I live, but luckily I have this mirror, so I'm going to be doing a thrift flip on it today. My plan is to antique the mirror and then refinish the frame, so it's going to be quite a big job, but I'm hoping it goes really well. I've never antiqued anything before, but I did a lot of research and it seems kind of intimidating, but I think we can handle it. So we're going to be tackling that together today. If you haven't subscribed already, consider hitting that subscribe button if you find this video helpful, but that's all I really have to say, so let's just jump into the project. So this is the mirror that we're going to be flipping. I believe, I didn't leave the price on, but I believe it was around $10. It really reminds me of like an Urban Outfitters kind of mirror that you would see. Obviously it needs some TLC, the paint's kind of chipping off up here, and yeah, like there's discoloration, like it looks a bit green here for some reason, but I think that we can make this really beautiful again, and it was super inexpensive and it's gonna look like we bought it from Urban Outfitters, so I'm super excited. It even says made in Canada back here, which I think is really cool. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what we were working with, so let's just go ahead and get into flipping this guy. So to start, I just went ahead and started taking the mirror apart. We need to separate the glass from the frame because we're going to go ahead and strip the paint off of the back of the mirror, which is actually the protective layer that protects the glass, but since we're going ahead and altering the glass, we need to get that mirror separated. So I just went ahead and took these screws out and took the little clamps off. I was kind of struggling because I couldn't find a screw head that fit these exact screws, but we made it work and we got the back of the mirror apart from the frame. So now I'm going to start applying the paint stripper to the back of the mirror. I'll link all of the products that I use down below for you guys. Basically, I'm just putting this on the back and using this paintbrush to go ahead and spread it out so that there's a nice even coat. So this is a super easy step. You're just going to apply it and then you're going to wait. One thing I will say is that sticker on the back did not come off at all with the paint stripper, so I would recommend taking any stickers off first. And then I just waited about 30 to 40 minutes before I started trying to scrape it off, and I ended up having to go back in with a second coat of the paint stripper, but that's totally fine. You just kind of have to wait and watch and keep going until you get all the paint off. Alright, moving on. Now it's time to take this paint off the back of the mirror. So I'm just grabbing a plastic scraper, and then to protect the mirror even more, I just put a little bit of paper towel over it too, and then just keep moving the paper towel down so that you don't rip through it, if that makes sense. And then, like I said, I just had to go in with some paint stripper again to get off those final pieces. It's super satisfying once you get everything off, so just stick with it, be patient. It's actually super easy. It's just kind of about waiting for the paint stripper to do its thing. But once it's all done, like I said, you will be so happy that you did it because it's super satisfying scraping that last bit of paint off. So now you want to use a soft cloth, not like the one I used, to go ahead and clean the mirror. It will scratch it up pretty bad if you use a cloth like I did. It was really textured. It turned out fine in the end, but if you want to avoid all those scratches, just make sure you're using a soft cloth or a sponge, and just use some dish soap and make sure you get off all of the paint stripper so that the next part of the process can work really well. Okay, so next you want to fill a spray bottle with 2 parts bleach to 1 part water and just start misting the bleach onto the mirror, and you're going to see that's going to start taking off the reflective coating. You're going to want to watch it because it actually happens super fast. You could just take some paper towel and dab any bleach off the parts you want it to stop the process, but I would recommend adding a little bit at first and taking it slow because I ended up putting way too much on to start and it ended up taking off more than I wanted, but that's okay. It just looks extra antiqued, but if you want a really subtle look, I would just recommend watching it and taking it slow. So now you can get creative. I'm going in with the gilded brass spray paint that I have, and I'm spraying the back, but whatever color you want you can use here because this is what's going to show through the mirror and kind of give it that like antique-y vibe. So I went with the brass because I wanted it to kind of show through and match the frame a little bit, but pick whatever color you want, just give it a really light coat and then let it dry, and we're going to move on to spraying it with a black spray paint. Now you're supposed to use a matte black. I didn't have one, I just used gloss and it turned out completely fine, so just use whatever you have, but go ahead and spray the back with black, and that's just going to seal everything in and protect it. So while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the frame. So I've got some sandpaper here and I'm just sanding down the frame and getting off any chips of the old paint so that you won't see it when we go ahead and spray paint it again. And then I'm just going to wipe it down and give it a good cleaning because it is from the thrift store, so it was kind of dusty. I had to grab some Q-tips to go ahead and get the dust out of the details on the top and the bottom because it was kind of hard to get in there with a regular cloth. But once it's all clean, I'm just going to go ahead and spray paint it that gold color that I have. I believe it's called Pure Gold by Rustoleum, but again, I will link everything I use down below for you guys. So I probably should have done this to begin with, but I just ended up going back with these little cardboard boxes and propping the frame up off the ground so I could get all of the edges nice and evenly and you won't see any drip marks. And that brings us to the end of our project. So once everything's dry, I'm just going ahead and putting the mirror back together the same way I took it apart. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab some glass cleaner so I can just give it a quick clean before I go ahead and style it. Let me know down below what you guys think. It definitely turned out a little bit different than I thought it would. I definitely went too heavy with the bleach, but that's okay. It's still fun to try new techniques and new ways to DIY. So let me know down below what you guys think. Project. I really hope you guys enjoyed it and you learned something new. If you did, consider hitting that subscribe button. It would mean so much to me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. You want to join the outro? Are you joining the outro, Finn?